Hello, my dear viewers and friends. Today is December 9th, 2019. It's freezingly cold, and please stay with me while I'm trying to put my glove on. So, this topic is on topic of the others. So, who are the others? For the really sake of the argument, I need to define some things. I'm gonna be talking about the reptiles, Illuminati not, but psychopath yes. However, to touch the topic of psychopaths, I shortly need to go through the theory of reptiles, demonic reptiles, Illuminati, as their mind-controlled victims in the essence and perpetrators of most of the crimes against humanity, and psychopaths, which are really the essence of the topic. So, because it's everything really metaphysically connected. So you who watch my channel, you know very well my theory and where I'm coming from. And now I'm just gonna run it quickly for new people and maybe for you if you need refreshment. So the reptiles who rule us, who rule this planet, and we are all owned by them and mind controlled by them, are essentially multidimensional, demonic, negative demonic beings, highly parasitic, without any sort of compassion, but highly intelligent and very powerful, but soulless, no essence inside. And about their essence I'm gonna be talking soon. So the Illuminati are humans born in the system of reptilian known families. Thousands of years been happening, and they've been mind controlled through the heavy mind control using trauma-based mind control, splitting human personality in multiple personalities, which can be controlled by the simple codes. They are walking among us, about 2% of population possible. But the other group, which is really touching us even more than first two groups, which is touching us very personally, are the psychopaths, narcissists, histrionics, borderlines, and they come under many names which are always changing. So now it's not psychopathy anymore, it's social disorder, it's antisocial personal disorder. Oh, it doesn't matter, guys. Don't let be confused by this terminology. What I firmly believe that psychopathy is essentially this: you have human container, and depending on the quality of that container, the demonic entities, because there is no person inside in the real sense, there is no soul inside. Demonic entities will be able to work through that container depending on the quality of container and depending on the quality of the lineage, of the bloodline. So let me just explain this shortly. So the quality of container is basically the physical health of psychopath, strength, beauty of the psychopath, the IQ level of the psychopath. And if on a quality scale that goes from alpha male female to beta male female to omega beta female, we're gonna be transgressing from a psychopath narcissist borderline, simply because weaker they are. And when I said bloodline, I meant basically money and the influences inherited, because depending on class where you're born, you expend your wealth or not. So depending on that infrastructure, financial infrastructure, power infrastructure, and personal, beauty and strength, which are, of course, as we know, extremely important in life, that evil entity inside him will be able to negatively influence people around throughout the lifetime. So I had this long time this parable between a narcissist and a borderline narcissist. Like, let's put this way: if a narcissist were born in the body of a king, he would be adored, he would be feared, he would inherit a kingdom, a modern kingdom that's just political power and shitloads of property. and the people would worship him as a god, and he would really feel supply coming in that form. However, if the same type of narcissists were born as a pauper, imagine Thailand. I'm not pointing any fingers here, but just imagine Thailand, and excuse me, borderline narcissist being born as a peasant or tuk-tuk driver. He would then be able only to torture his children and maybe even a wife, but towards the rest of the community, he would portray the role of oh, I'm just a poor guy, please pity me, etc. So he would seek the pity from the community, while in his four walls he would be, of course, given by the power, right? By the power of making family and maintaining that family through little finances. He would have power of torturing that family. While king can do that on a wider population. King can take a beautiful girl and throw her from the helicopter. Maybe that really happened in one country not long time ago, when king was a prince. So speaking about Thailand here, if you know anything about the scene there, I'm talking about that country. So, and not about the good king which passed away, but his son. So this theory about the other, about the psychopaths, is essentially a theory that among us humans, there are a couple of subspecies walking around. Reptiles are not humans, but they look like, right? They have technology to mimic us. Illuminati, they are a little bit different in the genetic code. They are humans like us, they are just a little bit different, but it's a way too long and complex talk to go into that. Let's say that they are genetically a bit better off in physical strength and IQ, and especially telepathy, increased pineal gland, but right? But mind controlled. While psychopaths, they are just like us, psychopaths, narcissists, etc. Except they are not us, they are the others. And now I will try to walk you through the mind of other after all this research of researching them, and after all decades living with one of them. So where I'm coming from, not from really privileged family. My father was a lifetime alcoholic, and he was abusive, but he was not really evil. There is a difference between schizophrenics and psychopaths. As schizophrenics, people who have verbal salads and outbursts of anger, they are not really evil in its sense. They basically product of the psychopathic society. So he was more on that dysfunctional side, right? But functioning as a worker in a factory and paying bills, and that was okay. But beyond that, nothing really. And mother is, in my understanding, after the last few examples, the full-scale psychopath, narcissist, because I don't want to be too dark in this already dark video, so I'm just gonna call her narcissist. So what to say about that? How their minds look like. So mind of a psychopath is like Alien Planet. If you watch the American show The Strange Things, and when things flip from the reality into the other dimension, well, for me this is the best metaphor for the mind of a psychopath. So first things first, when you're alone, you feel good, right? But psychopath doesn't feel good, because when you're alone, you can get the prana from a nature. Maybe you don't see much nature, it's all around me. You can get prana from there and get frozen because it's cold. But psychopaths constantly needs a fuel. From the moment he or she, or it actually, it's the thing, wakes up, it needs a fuel. And his mind is extremely predatorial, but it confusingly it's both insane and sane, and I'll try to now rationalize that. So this was for me very difficult to understand, and I hope I'm gonna manage to squeeze all of it in 15-20 minutes. So they have this mask of a sanity, excuse me, which is made for the general public. And of course, because they're part of the negative matrix, which is controlling all of it, they have a super institutional support of that matrix, right? If you read Political Ponerology of that Polish author, well, now I'm digressing. And but inside of them is what Sam Watkins said. It's like a haunted house with many voices. It's very cold inside, and then there is this judgmental voice of metaphysical evil, of alter ego, of a pure evil, which is always urging them to attack others, to manipulate others, that they're pieces of shit if they're not dominate, and if they don't control somebody, and if they see that somebody is sleeping, they're gonna feel that they're, as he described, something like exploding into atoms, and that they are disappearing, and this is for them the worst possible feeling. They're panicking, and they must redeem themselves by punishing that person who defines them and destroying that person, and they will never stop. So this is the major difference between you and me. We forgive, we forget, they don't. We in a conflicts with them, we have one battle, then we move back to our line. They never stop. They just continue until they finish with you, until you're done. And they're always picking one person at a time, because picking everybody at a time would really expose them as a, antisocial person. And another thing is, I know that there is a portrait of a psychopath as somebody who's in a prison, but in my belief, only unsuccessful psychopaths end up in prison. Most of them end up as managers. Only small numbers of very low IQ, very impulsive ones who can't control their anger, they ending up in prison after violent crimes. Although that's been incredibly tolerated in this day and age, so they're getting away with it a lot lately. Speaking about rape gangs in Europe and no-go zones and all of that. So now imagine that you are sitting in a classroom by a person who has a beautiful appearance, but inside of a warm soul there is just a coldness. And when you look at that person as a friend, he's your frenemy, and he's already manipulating you. He's speaking on somebody, blah 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 blah, that person shit no good. And if you're not falling into that faults, you understand me, as a flying monkey or submissive human, I think apart from us targeted individuals, and not all of the targeted individuals are awakened people, I can tell you that. More I spend time, more I notice that it's basically mainstream mentality, claiming to be targeted individuals. So I really don't know why the fuck are they being targeted to begin with. But anyway, mainstream, politically, mainstream philosophically, like, why would anybody target you? Okay, I'm not saying that you are personally not, but just something I'm noticing more and more on these Facebook pages, etc. Especially with black power signs and that kind of stuff. So that person is sitting by you, and you're thinking something innocently, and you don't know what's going on, but you're already in the game. So this is the huge advantage of psychopaths over mainstream society, over common people, over us, right? Simply souled or non-psychopathic, like all of us, right? You can be schizophrenic, you can have multiple personality disorder, you can have anxiety disorder. As long as you're not them, you are human, maybe damaged, maybe not, but who is not damaged here? This is what I'm trying to say. And that is actually beyond race, beyond religion. This is simply human condition which we all share on this planet. And now, can you understand, excuse me again, now can you understand the fact that the huge tactical, strategic advantage this evil has over humanity, that humanity doesn't even know the nature of that evil. People notice evil, people notice that something is wrong, but they can't notice the systematic nature of that evil. They can't notice the near perfection of that evil. And when you start noticing that there is really this subgroup of people who have this cold, cruel minds, who absolutely not that they absolutely have nothing like compassion. They can fake it, right? They learn how to fake it. But imagine like you like kittens and puppies, and they simply like to squash them. This is the enjoyment for them. But in front of you and for the public, they're gonna have even shitloads of cats and dogs. Look how I like mine. They just disappear from time to time. You know what I mean? So uh, or now when I'm like talking too much, just wonder one thing: why so many rich people have pizza ovens in their gardens? Pizza oven is actually pretty complex to operate. You really need professional pizzaiola, otherwise you can't really adjust the temperature. It's actually used for burning human bodies, especially children remains. That's right, my dear audience. That's why they have them, and they are the people who control. They are the people who own this company and that company and that company. These are the people, because this is the matrix. It's from up to down. It's from up. It's coming from multidimensional reality, and it's owning this realm. These little lights you see, let them be the metaphor of us souls. Somewhere we are more grouped, somewhere we are less grouped, and somewhere is the darkness. And the difference between country and a country is how strong these psychopaths are ganged up in their clusters, because they always tend to be, not the tent, they are always and ganged up in the clusters. And if you have areas where they're really really powerful, you're gonna have more darkness, you're gonna have more poverty, you're gonna have more misery, you're gonna have constant civil wars, and even altars like in Uganda, where they have sacrificial altars for humans. And in areas where it's more of us, where balance of power is more on our side, you're gonna have more compassionate society, more, let's say, like a, what should I say, like a Buddhist society, let's say. I'll use the metaphor of Thailand, because in Thailand are actually people are nicer than in Europe, which would be somewhere like in the middle, right, etc. So, although Thailand has its issues, of course, and its psychopaths as we know it, as the Thais like to sing, helicopter, 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 paileo. Helicopter came and gone. Thais will understand that, especially from Bangkok. So, guys, I've been talking for a while here. I'm gonna stop now, and before I end, I'm gonna say something what I thought I'm gonna say at the beginning. I'm really really grateful to you guys who are coming to this channel, and who are offering support, and who are writing down what's happening in your life. And thank you for being here, because for all intents and purposes, you're actually the only support I have. I turned to the YouTube simply because I could not turn to anybody around me, or not in a full extent of understanding. Right now, I text with a friend from States, Paisano. He basically told me to forget and forgive, to forget and forgive, which I already done so many times. But you know, if you're an abuser, I forgive you, you hit me again. I forgive you, you hit me 2 times. I forgive you, you tell me, oh, it's not sincere, you're lying, bitch, you hit me 5 times in the face. So it's not really helping when you're living with a psychopath, narcissist, whatever. The only thing you can do is cut the contact, move away, and never establish contact again, because you are not dealing with a human being. You are dealing with demonic entity which is controlling human body, and that entity essentially hates you. It never allowed you. So I'm just gonna finish with the last thing which happened with my narcissistic mother. She was pushing doors. She told me, you can't shit from the padella, from the pot you eat, and apologize to me publicly, and apologize to me publicly, or pack your sleeping bag. My answer to her was that she's psychopathic garbage and that I never gonna apologize to her, and this is my apartment that I'm staying. Then she said, "No, it's not, and technically it's hers. So let's see what's gonna happen." So how it led to that? Well, she saw footage I uploaded on YouTube, and she thought that I'm showing you guys how apartment dirty is because I lifted that towel. And as you all know, apartment is very clean. So this is another thing I want to say. These psychopaths, unlike us, who can be very messy, not too much, but very messy in creative way, and we mostly know where things are. These people always have to make everything pathologically clean, super clean, because this is how they cover up their inner filth, inner darkness. You understand me? So she was actually, see where she was coming from. So she actually assumed that I'm criticizing her for being dirty, which is of course not the case. And I received many compliments from you how clean apartment is, which is always like that, really. The only messy part is my room, and I like it that way, to be honest. I don't like when it's sterile. So yeah, this is the last thought I'm gonna finish with, and thank you for watching this, and have a great day and have a great life, guys.